So this is sanitary surveys. This is looking at the new software that we have, that we replaced our old ESS. So ESS is the old Microsoft Access version. So we are now web-based, and we're in our new Waterlink database. So we'll go over this outline first. We'll go over a general process of things that have changed since last year when we used ESS. And next we'll talk about how to create a portal account. All of the LHD leads and or admins, as well as all their staff, anyone that does surveys, will need this portal account. Any of the district engineers or division staff, they do not. They already have access. And then we'll talk about the structure of the sanitary survey as it is now. We'll talk about how to access your surveys and how to assign those to your staff. And then we'll talk about supplemental information. So we'll get to that, and then training dates, and then we'll talk about mobile access. So first, general process. Someone from our division will populate, create that list of surveys that are due each year. We also have the ability to add one at a time for whatever reason. The admin will also assign surveys to the local health departments, specifically to that admin person, that lead, and then as well as all of the DEQ staff. Then that LHD admin will make their own assignments to their own staff. And so we'll show you how to do that. So each surveyor will then have access through the link called My Surveys. And we'll show that here in a second. Then you'll conduct the field work like you've done in the past, and then you'll finalize and mail the cover letter and the deficiency report. So one change that we've done is we're not going to mail out the completed survey, because we'll have that in the system stored. So that's not necessary. After completion, notify Jennifer Yee, and then we can start the process of data entry into CIDWIS for the division staff. So that is the general process. Next, we'll talk about creating a portal account. So first, you go to waterlink.utah.gov, and you click on this menu called Public Portals. If you're not logged in the first time, you should have two options here. If you click on Portal Access Instructions, then you'll have these options here. First, you have to create a government utah.gov account if you don't already have one. After you've created that account, then you can log in to Waterlink, and then you'll go to this go back to this page again and create the portal account, or make that request, and then log out. Once you log out, we will receive an email that you've sent that request in, and we will grant you permissions to your local health department or to your surveys, and you'll receive an email once that is all set up. So then you'll go back into Waterlink, and this time you'll have three options. Click on Portals, and you'll see a sanitary survey portal on that link, on that page. So click that, and you'll see My Surveys and a list of all the surveys that are assigned to your local health department, or to you, I guess. And you simply click on one of the links, and that'll open up your survey. So let's talk about the structure of the survey first before we get into it. There's a general header information that you'll see on all of the Waterlink reports, so you may be already familiar with those. Then there's a section navigation. It's a drop-down pick list, so that's how you move from section to section. And then we have a bunch of buttons that different processing, and we'll go through each one of those. So here's your individual survey. So this is the top few lines of your survey. First section is that general header you'll see on all of the Waterlink reports. The next section is for the surveys. The date of the survey, that would be the exit interview. So once you have that exit interview, change this date. The next is the status. That can go from incomplete to complete and locked. Assign to, this is where the LHD admins will make assignments to their staff. So initially, all of your surveys will be assigned to you, and then you can go in and change that to your staff as long as they have that portal account. So keep in mind that both you, the admin, and all of the staff that are doing surveys need to have a portal account and have it set up through me and granted permissions and all that. And then your name will show up in this list, and the admin can make those assignments. Next, we have this two fields here. This is a quick and dirty way of getting these two fields out to you as surveyors. The supplemental page isn't quite ready yet, but these two will help you answer the questions in the cross connection control program. And we'll go over that in a second in here too. Next, we have the survey sections. This is your navigation. So on this here, you've got 11 sections. If you click on this link, then you can see these first 8 are sections that apply to all of the surveys. And then depending on your type of system, you may have springs and wells or tanks or chlorinators or major treatment. All those sections will appear in this list. And so you just click your section and answer those questions. Over here on the bottom right are all of the buttons that we have, and we'll go over those one at a time. So the first is the refresh survey. This button does kind of two things. It pulls in current information from CIDWIS, as well as it updates any questions that we've done since the last time. So in general, we won't be changing questions, but where we're still kind of new and still this is kind of a testing phase, even though we're live here, we may tweak a little bit. So especially if you're not going to do surveys for maybe a few months, maybe in the fall, make sure you hit refresh survey before you start. That'll pull in all the fresh questions and pull up any inventory. So if you do have some inventory changes, and we highly recommend that you get all that fleshed out before. If the system is missing a chlorinator, or if it's a different type, or missing a source or whatever, make sure CIDWIS is updated, and you can use your survey to check too. Go and make sure everything's good before you go out in the field. If you need a change, make a request to the division, and we can make that change in CIDWIS, and then hit that refresh, and it'll pull in that new information. And these are not in order, so we'll rearrange these. I'm kind of going through them as if you were a surveyor, what you'd do next. So the next button is the survey PDF. That is your questionnaire that you could take out to the field. and do your survey. So this is the first page of that PDF. And here's just an example, page 11. And if we zoom in a little bit, here's two different types of questions. So this is about roots in the collection lines of a spring. So in the field, you can just go mark the deficient ones, or you can go through and mark every one, however you feel. When you do go back to your office or back into the system, every question needs to be answered. So keep that in mind. We also have some lead-in questions. So this number 82 is a lead-in question. So if a spring box is present, then you need to answer these two questions, these A and B. And so, if they're deficient, if there is no spring box present, then you don't need to answer these. So they will show up on the report, the printed report, so you can answer them. But when you get back to the system, they won't show up if your answer is no. So a next example of a source, if we zoom in there, this pulls in the operating period of that particular facility, month and day, and then this one actually also pulls in the equipping capacity and the safe yield. So these numbers are coming in from SIDWIS. If there is a change, go ahead and make the change and describe in the comments why you made that change. And that'll help staff know why and such. So also I kind of failed to mention back when you do have a deficiency, those comments are required. So describe the type of deficiency. Obviously, if it's a cross connection, we need to know where and how, and a lot more detail than just a deficiency check mark. Okay, next button is this validate button. So I wouldn't hit it very first because you'll get a big long list of all the questions literally that you haven't answered yet. But if you got most of them done and you want to check, you can hit that validate anytime, and it will show you what questions you have not yet answered. So if we zoom in, we can show that this is an example of some of those questions that could pop up that haven't been answered yet. So here's actually the cross-connection control program. So this first question about a legally adopted authority statement, there's your answer right here in the background. So for this particular system, they don't have one yet, so they would get some points. And then this personnel trained, that's your backflow 101 class, or if they're certified as well. But there's some reference fields for you to help answer those two questions. The next is a save button. Anytime you change sections, so if you go from general information to site visit or whatever, it will automatically save. So you don't have to hit it save every time. But if you're in the middle of a section and you need to take a break or whatever, it's a good idea to hit save before you leave. Sometimes the browser will time out. And this is a good time to mention, this is a browser, this is a web-based application. So sometimes your browser may crash. You may not be able to refresh right where you're at. You may have to go back to the My Survey link and open up the survey fresh, and it'll pop back up. So if you do see a crash or an error message, just go back to My Surveys and reopen your survey. Sometimes if you just hit F5, you're in the middle of something, and it's very complicated in the back end. So it's safer, and usually the best way is to just go back to the My Surveys and hit that link and start over on that page. All the questions will be saved as you go. But okay, next is the mailed and lock. So after this button does two things. First, it validates. So it's the same as clicking the validate button again. So if it clears, if everything has been answered, then it will lock the survey, and that assuming that everything is good and all your deficiencies are marked that you need. It also checks to make sure comments are entered for those deficiencies. So then your survey is locked. In the future, we'll have maybe some intelligence in the back of this button that sends out the deficiency report and maybe an email that has the cover letter, and so it'll all be automated but that's down the road. The next is the survey deficiency report. So if we blow that up, that shows the deficiencies that you may have entered. This also has the notes, that comment box that is required. So that is basically the survey. Now, when we have our training the next few weeks, we'll go deeper into some of the questions and the actual process of the field work and such. So today is just kind of the demo of getting used to the software and getting access. Really, that's the big thing, is getting those portal accounts set up and getting in to view your survey. So next we'll talk about supplemental information. Soon this will all be in one place on that portal account page. So right now we have the inventory, IPS, and monitoring reports already in Waterlink. Hopefully you've already used those and are aware of those. So we don't need to go over that. Past surveys, if you're not aware, they are already available on our Easy Search website. There's the link, but I will show you in the next slide how to access those so you can see all your past surveys. The next we'll go through is the capacity spreadsheet. Right now that is not automated, but it is planned to be so, especially when we go to the system specific capacity requirements. So we'll go over that. The cross connection control, we already talked about. Those are available on the survey for those, at least those two questions. And then soon, hopefully, exceptions and source protection status will be available as well. If you need, before that is available, if you need them sooner than later, then contact Jennifer and she can get them to you. I have an idea of how we might be able to do this and get them all out to you in bulk. So stay tuned. So past surveys on Easy Search. If you'll go to drinkingwater.utah.gov or the department website and click on this Easy Search link, that will take you to a new page. And here you can do a search for any document really that we have available to the public. So first go in and change it to DDW for our division. Change it to the county that you're looking at, and as well as the water system, and then change and pick site visits. After that, we'll pull up all of our records for all of the site visits for that particular system, and you should be able to have the last survey as well as other. If something's missing, contact our office, and we'll get it figured out. Next is the capacity spreadsheet. So here's the link if you want to memorize that, or you can just go to our website and I will show you quickly how to find that. We've redesigned our website again, so hopefully this will help. So click on our main website, and over on the left there's a navigation bar, and click on permitting, this little drop down arrow, and that will open up a drop down. Go to plan review program, and then under tools, checklists, and policies. So permitting, plan review program, and tools. checklists. And that will open up the page. And here is the capacity spreadsheets that you can open up. Both of these are Excel. If we open up that, then this should be familiar to most of you. And in the training in the coming weeks, we'll describe more about that. And then in the next couple of years, we'll have this all automated, and it should be linked to system specific capacity requirements. So exciting things coming. So here are some training, the training dates that we have scheduled for the next month in May. So if you have any questions about that, contact Patty or someone in our office. Mobile access. So if you have any kind of mobile device, it has to have internet, and you use your mobile browser. And this isn't necessarily supported. It wasn't designed for mobile access, but it looks good. I tested it last 2 days, and I really think we'll be able to do a whole survey, especially once we get the automated email and deficiency report all linked up. You really could do your whole survey in the field as long as you have internet access. So there'll be some facilities up in the mountains or rural parts of Utah that don't have internet, but it looks good so far. So here's a snapshot of what it looks like on your phone. So you can go through and answer those questions. All the information is there. I didn't really go over this in the printed version, but this here is your severity. These are the IPS points. This is the category, your deficiency code, the description, and then the rule. So someday we'll have maybe a link and maybe some training videos if we have some specific needs on different rules and different aspects of the questions. But there's a good reference for you now. So you can do that all on your phone. Here's the top page. The only minor glitch, if it's a glitch at all, is these buttons right now are over top of the section pick list. But if you just click here with your finger, it works, and these buttons work. So you just have to just kind of work around it. And we could probably fix this too, but it's a minor thing. So anyway, it looks good. We're excited, and that is all I have. So if you have questions, call or email me or someone in the division, and we'll answer your questions. Thank you.
See you at the training next week.
Yeah, and we'll see you at the training next week. Good.